Hello everyone who watching this video. 9 months ago Myers was completely reworked and I want to talk about this. In this video I'll explain why Myers needs to return his old ability and addons back, but of course with some buffs because he really needs them, and that's not a secret, everybody know it. First, what I want to say, I am Myers main, of course. I play on Myers in DBD most every day and I have P100 and Myers, so let's start. What is the problem with the rework and current version of Myers? First, what I want to say, Myers doesn't need it any rework. All what his old version needed, it's little changes, some little buffs to make him little bit faster and mobile in chases. This rework killed his addons, variability, uniqueness, and unpredictability. He's not the xenomorph, he's not the demogorgon, he's not the blight, he's not the Wesker and Chucky. He doesn't need to imitate anyone. Myers is Myers. Myers doesn't need those 5 seconds of stalking which you borrowed from Ghostface for Amanda's and Chucky's trash M2 dashes. Myers is a stalker who stalked survivors and after that started to kill them one by one. His essence, his nature was perfectly realized in the game, but over time game was changed and of course he needed some buffs, but not the destruction of what made himself, his personality. This rework killed his lore accurate ability and all of his add-on effects were no longer related to his lore too. Myers is a stalker, and this M2 attack, Slaughtering Strike, absolutely killed his personality. Now this killer is another one M2 dash love full without something special. It deprived him of himself. It made him clumsy and very predictable in chases. His old version was not only lore accurate but also was more stronger than new version because the add-ons and builds you take was stronger together. I mean Infinite Tier 3 or almost 2 minutes of its action, Tombstone and Tombstone Piece, 2 mirrors with Survivor's Aura revealing, and other add-ons. Survivors didn't know what build Myers take, and every time they wondered and were afraid how many unique, fun and unpredictable builds you can create with his old ability and add-ons. The fact Behavior destroyed this is just crazy. All what he needed is little buffs to make him a little bit active and that will be perfect, but you chose to destroy his personality. You know, someone said they did this rework because they lost the license on Halloween chapter, but why weren't Demogorgon or Cenobite reworked? Before the Halloween chapter, Behavior had already lost the licenses for these chapters, so why weren't their personalities destroyed like Myers? Behavior, why didn't you rework it? The Ghostface, Bubba, the Doctor, Wesker, the Unknown, and other characters. In last few patches you give them little buffs and that was really perfect. But why only Myers need to be destroyed? Why didn't you just buff his old ability, his lore accurate ability? I really don't understand. What I mean when I say it about buffs to his tier 1, you can just increase his movement speed to 4.4 and add the basic launch like you did it in the rework. That will be really huge, really perfect. To his tier 2, like in the rework, you can increase his vault basic brick, launch and star recovery speeds. That was a really vital change and it was really perfect. In his tier 3, you need to remove this awful Slaughtering Strike and return his old M1 exposed lunge with his special walk animation when he walked with a raised hand with knife. I still don't understand why you removed this and did not bring back with the rework add-on Fragrant Tuft of Hair. Also, give that add-on the effect of increasing launch range by 50% or even more, like 100% in his basic ability. Just integrate this effect and that will be really perfect. and of course need increase his vault, basic break and stun recovery speeds even more than tier 2. It will not contradict with his lore, but will make him more dangerous and stronger in chases. But the most important, it will return him his unpredictable, and I'll explain why. Because of new sound effects and slowdowns of his ability. When he charged the Slaughtering Strike, it gives to survivor sound effect which warns about this and also slows him down. These innovations made him very slow and predictable in chases, so this new tier 3 power will be fixed that. And the sound effects don't stop on this. Now we're gonna talk about stalking. When Myers stalking gets 50% of ability, survivors on who he is stalked can hear music which notify about this, and when he get his power, all survivors on map hear the sound notify about this too. Myers is a stealth killer, and these features has completely destroyed the last vestiges of his unpredictability and stealth. Old Myers version was not only more lore accurate, but also was much stronger because of stealthy and unpredictable game style. When you get it your tiers up, survivors didn't know who exactly gives him stalking, but now they know it, and that's really awful. Especially when you're playing at high MMR vs 14k hours players. Because of this, survivors can just pre-run away because they know about your ready ability. And since we're talking about stalking, I want to say change of survivors now have a limit amount of stalk points was a really good. That was really neat to Myers, because that was really strange when points is end and you can just stalk for your ability. Or you can add a recovery of stalking points after, for example, 20 or 30 seconds after the last stalking, why not? And changes of stalk rate is not affected by distance, and increase the movement speed multiplier when stalking a survivor was okay, and you can state by decreasing stalk rate while moving. Need to remove with his old power. Myers stalked in films on very long and short distances, so I don't understand why you decreased the maximum stalking range to 32 meters. On the contrary, it will need to be increased to 40 like it was, or to 48 meters maybe. And of course need to remove this notify sound effects. Don't forget, Myers is a stealth killer, but the sounds just destroys his stealth. And the new innovation when your stalk progress decreases to 50% when stalk meter is not full after 20 seconds of not stalking any survivors. With his old ability, his old add-ons, with his old stalking, of course that need to be removed. And also to his stalking, you can integrate all the effect of add-on Judith Myers Memorial plus 25% increases stalk rate add-on, or maybe 10 or 15% at least of this effect, like you did it with Wesker Egg add-on. These changes will make his stalking more effective, more scary, and the most important, unpredictable. And he will be not a predictable big fool like you did him in the rework. The ability to switching modes make his tier 1 a strength, not a weakness. It's a good change that should be remained, but the lack of stalking at tier 2 is a real hindrance. Will be very useful to restore this. I know you removed it because of his new power, but you could simply reduce the amount of level gained from stalking at tier 2. It will be great to restore his ability to stalk all survivors you see at once, rather than one at a time. This will also make his stalking more effective and faster, of course. Now let's talk about add-ons. It's really very important because his huge number with different variations of add-ons made Myers the most deadly and unpredictable killer in the whole game. They was perfectly connected with his lore and was logically integrated under the game conditions. The developers who created Michael Myers and his add-ons, his ability in Dead by Daylight, did a really wonderful job. I really don't know and don't understand who led this rework process, but these people really don't understand who Michael Myers is and his lore. I'll explain. Previously, the Judith's Journal, Judith's Memorial, and Memorial Flower addons gave you increased speed of your evil stalking by 40%, obsessions only 25%, and 11%. That's because Michael really hated his sister Judith and killed her. That's why they gave you stalk speed. It's completely in the line with his lore and fits well into the game. And that was perfect, but now these add-ons give you increased speed of your pickup and hooking survives by 40% when Evil Incarnate is active, and increases movement speed in Stalker mode to 4.4. Where is the connection with his lore behavior? The only one add-on left in Spoiled is Judith's Journal. Another example, before the rework, blonde hair, hairbrush, hair bow, lock of hair, and fragrant tuft of hair add-ons give you more the duration of evil within 3. They all had a connection from the lowest value and quality to the highest. It was on 100% true with his lore. Fragrant tuft of hair was really perfect add-on and gave you infinite duration of evil within 3 and was ultra rare quality, which was logical and right. But now this add-on increase your range by 50% in Evil Incarnate mode and make survivors exposed. And the quality of this add-on was dropped to uncommon. And another add-ons you can just check on the screen. Let's go to next. Another one example, before the rework, Judith's Tombstone and Tombstone Piece gave you grants the ability to kill any survivors by your own hands in tier 3. I need to explain why is this on 1000% true with his lore? I don't think so. But these brutal add-ons now give you refresh the duration of Evil Incarnate when you're hooking Survivor and only on 40 seconds, not 60, and make you undetectable for 20 seconds when you activated Evil Incarnate. That was the buff we're waiting for. That was the most deadly and brutal add-ons in the whole game, but you just killed them. That's really awful. And I wanted to say one really important thing about Tombstone add-ons. You need to give the ability to kill survivors while they're slugging on the floor, repairing generators and healing. And this isn't even a buff but a genuine bug fix, because it's crazy that you cannot kill survivors right in front of you because the animations of healing, repairing generators and jumping in the lockers. In rework you gave to Myers the ability to kill survivors even when they slugging on the floor. After second hook, 1,000,000,000% you need to give it to his Tombstone add-ons. This will not fix the bug, but it will give you your well-deserved kill and will make working of Tombstone add-ons more correctly. Also, like buff, you can decrease the requirements for stalking points to his add-ons, but I'd still prefer to keep them the same. Instead, I slightly increase the stalking speed, which I mentioned earlier. And need to understand one really important thing. If you lost your matches and if you don't know how to stalk correctly, how to play on Myers more stronger, and how you need to do your stalking more effective and be more dangerous, if you don't know these things, it doesn't mean Myers need to be reworked. It means you need to play more on Myers, need to understand how you need to use his ability. Myers was a strategical killer and you needed to understand which of the survivors should be killed right now with Tombstone add-ons, how many stalk points they had, how you need to stalk, when you need to stalk, when you need to activate your ability, and other things you needed to understand on Myers. It just took experience and time at all. I wouldn't record this video and say all of this if it were a different character, maybe even a new original killer with this ability, with these add-ons, but this is Michael Myers. But behavior, with this rework you broke the connection between all of his add-ons and Michael itself. And that doesn't surprise me, because his new trash ability, Sloughing Strike, has no connection with Michael Myers itself. And that's why his beautiful and that's why his beautiful old add-ons cannot work with this new trash ability. You need to bring back old Michael Myers ability and his add-ons, because the rework version is not Michael Myers at all. It's not him, it's another character. Every day when I start the game and see this, I really want to cry. What you did with my boy? What you did with the most interesting killer in this game? With his variations, with his unpredictable game style, with his lore accurate game style, with his stalking. Myers is a stalker. Why did you remove the stalking from a stalker? You need to bring back his old ability and his old add-ons, because Michael Myers is Michael Myers.
Hello, Plus. Misokrisa? Just 20 like Misokrisa? What I think about Myers? I hate what he did. Myers. He's not fun to play anymore. Who's my main? My main was like Myers actually. But with what they changed to him, like it's not looking fun. No, it's not making sense. Because he's not low accurate anymore. Right now about like old Myers ability and the view, like you need to bring him back. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean lots of people hate the reworks. The thing is that why behavior like did that is because they want like him to be more able to keep pressure on the gens and in the games, but it's not what Myers is supposed to do, you know. We don't care about like the pressure. We care about the lore.
Здорово, Ильяс.
Здорово.
Не думаешь, что старого Майерса стоит вернуть?
В плане?
Его обилку, его аддоны, с некоторыми бафами, конечно. Потому что после реворка он потерял всю связь со своим лором и стал очередным М2 болванчиком, который вообще никак не связан с ним и его лором, которого мега изи контрить.
Плюс 20 мисса Криса, но мне даже добавить нечего. Ну, я-то бы, может, и хотел бы, чтобы старую обилку его вернули, но и что, типа? Что, не верну, думаешь? Ну, ты можешь, я, в принципе, так делаю иногда, ты можешь брать вот этот аддон, где эта херня. Вот это. Это, короче, ароматный клок волос, по сути, делает старую способность. Это все равно не возвращает связь всех аддонов с его лором. Да понятное дело, понятное дело. Ну хотя бы так.
It's not something another character, he is Michael Myers. Don't need even try to change his nature. It's very sad to see his new version in matches and playing him now after the rework, because he lost his personality, he lost his lore accurate style, and that's really awful. When I started to play in DVD, I fell in love with him immediately, because the work of developers was incredibly insane. That was the real Michael Myers, and of course he became my main killer. I have thousands of every add-ons and have thousands hours on this killer, but I don't have the soul of this killer. Return us old Michael Myers, the real Michael Myers.